Mariners Weekly for Week 2 of the 2024 season. This is Nick, joined as always by Kevin.
What's up, Mariner Nation?
Producer Brad, making it all go.
Hey.
And joining us with this week is the newly minted pitching coach of the Charlotte 49ers, Michael O. What's up, Coach O?
How we doing? Thanks for having me on.
Man, we're doing great. We had a fun weekend at the Hayes, and can I just get this out of the way, Kevin? Because we got Coach O here, and I cannot think of Coach O without thinking of Ed Ogeron, and so I got to give you a Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Me and Coach Bick, I think, say that line at least 5 times a day. So it's caught on pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you think of Ed Ogeron. Like, Go Tigers. So we got our own Coach O. So that's awesome. All right, so we got some things to get into here. Cam Hansen is going to be joining us later. So excited about having Cam on. I think he's making his second appearance on the show. But let's go ahead and jump right in, boys, because it was opening weekend at the Hayes. And what I think we need to talk about first, Kevin, is just the crowd. Opening day crowds, we've seen that. That's not unusual, but the crowd Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the people just came and stayed. It was fantastic.
Right, and just all listed attendance, there's only 1,100 seats technically in the Hayes, and then everything else standing room only. We were standing room only on Friday, and then there was very few seats available for Saturday, Sunday games as well. So, and Coach Woodard tweeted out biggest opening weekend attendance wise in history. So, very impressive crowds, especially for 4:00 on a Friday. We had basketball going on Sunday, and the Hayes was packed, and the crowd was electric as well.
Yeah, crowds were strong all weekend, and to be honest with you, I mean, it wasn't perfect weather either. I mean, there was no precipitation or anything, but it's not like it was sunny and 80 either. So, given everything, like you said, the time and a little on the chilly side, great crowd. I mean, I hope we can keep up that momentum, and I think we will based on the opponents that we have coming into the Hayes. But just a really fun opening weekend. I know we're going to talk about some of the games and the results here, but overall, Kevin, it was just good to be back in the Hayes and good to be back in there with a solid crowd. Students were great. Season ticket holders and alumni were great. Of course, Virginia Tech, had a crowd as well, but really just fun weekend at the ballpark. I'm glad we're back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the off season's over for sure, and I'm sure the players and coaches are glad that they're going up against somebody else in a different uniform. I know they've had a lot of scrimmages, inter squads throughout the fall and spring, and I know they're ready to face somebody else on the mound and in the batter's box.
Yeah, and Coach O, I mean, picking up on what Kevin said there, you've probably got, whether through the fall and the preseason, you've probably got all the data you want on your guys facing our own batters. You're probably ready to take the car out of the garage and actually go drive it, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably the toughest thing about the latter half of the preseason. Everybody's primed and ready to go, and at that point, you're just you all love each other, but you're just sick of playing each other. At that point, it's been 5 weekends in a row, and you're kind of just chomping at the bit and ready to play somebody else. And with the fans and everything, that was an electric opening weekend for sure.
Yeah, Coach O. So now you've got a weekend in the books. What are some things that stood out with the pitching staff that you saw this weekend that you liked from our guys?
Man, I mean, for a lot of guys, it was their first Division I outing, playing another Division I uniform and just getting their innings in. I was really impressed with. Just overall as a whole, it just felt like every single guy that we rolled out was competitive and ready to go. It felt like the bullpen was bottomless this weekend, which was awesome. They looked ready. They looked ready to compete. And, I still think our best baseballs in front of us. Absolutely some things to work on, but all things considered, this was a pretty good start and pretty good first showing for a lot of new guys.
So one of those returners that we saw right off the bat on Friday was you guys gave the ball to Miles Langhorne. And I know you guys you sort of working a targeted program with Miles and bringing him along. And we saw it last in his arm. And he's got a bright future as a pitcher. He gets the ball on opening day, and I think you guys were kind of trying to do some certain things with him, but he came in and did the job you asked him to do, and looked pretty good in 2 innings of work right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing about Miles is that he's incredibly talented. You can say that the dude was just like born to throw a baseball. The way he moves, the way the ball comes out of his hand, the way he's able to spin a baseball. But he is also just a tireless worker. Like he has a really, really impressive work ethic to go along with the natural talent that he has. And when you have a guy like that, like whatever role he's in, you expect him to help contribute a lot and to throw a lot of meaningful innings. But this was a good first step for him at the start of the year, and I think he's only going to keep building from his success.
Yeah, after that, after Miles, you went to A.J. Wilson. I know the top of their lineup had, I think, 4 lefties in a row, 5 out of the top 6. I thought he looked really good against the lefties. Talk a little bit about A.J. this weekend. I think he made 2 appearances out of the pen for the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome. He's probably got one of the best left-handed sliders in the country. There's probably 2 or 3 guys, in the nation that could spin a baseball like he can. And he just went in there and did his thing, good heaters, really spinning the slider whenever he wanted to. And he had a lot of uncomfortable bats, especially with the lefties. And the cool thing is too, is like, as he's been progressing, you can kind of see he's getting more comfortable against right-handed hitters, and, he's able to get both sides of the batter's box out, not just stuck with the lefties. But it's been cool to see how much better he's gotten. And, I think he's going to keep getting better.
Now, one of the things about Friday's game, a couple observations is you guys used seven different arms. You really came out of Friday with pretty much everybody available. I know that the game lend itself to you guys doing some different things, but obviously the result, drop 10-0 defeat on opening day, not what you're looking for. But if there is a silver lining, that did give you guys some flexibility to start thinking about, okay, well, what do we got to do for the rest of the weekend, and who can we have available? Yes.
Absolutely. And, it's by no means, are guys ever going to be throwing like non-meaningful innings. Like every single guy that went out there competed and is going to help us contribute.
Yeah.
That being said, like we had guys with, who have had numerous innings at the D1 level already, who have had experience, who are veterans here that we still haven't even thrown, even after Saturday. And so that gave us a lot of confidence, rolling into Sunday, knowing that, we still have some of our better guys in the pen ready to go. I think that's what's, maybe a little bit different from this year's team than last year's, just the availability and the overall depth, top to bottom.
Yeah. And of that group of guys that pitched on Friday, several of them came back, and a couple of them were even involved in the games Saturday and even the win on Sunday in AJ's case. So, like you said, no meaningless innings for sure. But you were able to get through with everyone available. I know pitching is your forte, but I want to take it into offense here for just a moment, and we'll get the pitching coach's take on offense. Obviously, after Friday night, hats off to their starter Renfro on Friday night. He was electric. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But for our bats, I think what I saw on Friday was a lot of guys making their D1 debut and really kind of needing the game to slow down for them a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And, whether it's pitching or hitting, I think we've all been there. Like, first D1 game, it's a lot of moving parts at once. And it's one of those things that, like, you're not prepared for no matter how much you try, like in the preseason, until you just play. And you can kind of see guys, like, picking up the speed as the game is going. That was probably the coolest part, too, is, like, you saw guys making those adjustments from pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat, and certainly day by day, as you saw from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, some of the guys that haven't had those D1 at-bats yet, like, seeing them make those adjustments and knowing how talented they are and at the rate they're doing it, like, it's going to be dangerous, those Correas, the Furches, the Baines, those guys, as the year goes on, just to see how much better they're going to get. But yeah, it's hard to recreate, your first Division I at bat, anywhere else besides a game. And so, they're just going to keep going.
Do you remember that moment for yourself, that first D1 appearance and how that went for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I literally could not feel my body. Like, everything was just like buzzing. Like, I was nervous as all get out. And, it really took after the first batter to even, like, feel my feet underneath me. And then, even the entire outing, like, I think it was 4 innings, all 4 innings, however many pitches I threw, I felt, nerves. I don't think it really went away until my second appearance. So, yeah, there's nothing like it. So I'm glad they got to experience it because it's pretty special.
Hey, but that's not bad, Kevin. 4 innings in your first D1 appearance.
Yeah, I'm guessing it got a lot easier after that once you got that out of the way, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, heart rate starts to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you can start to see guys' upward trajectory from Friday to Sunday, right in front of us in just a short weekend. So, good way to end the weekend on a high note.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? If we're gonna transition and talk about Saturday, why don't we bring in Saturday's starter? Wouldn't that be cool? If we could just transition and bring in the starting pitcher from Saturday's game right into the show and talk to him live. Hey, look at there.
How's it going?
Here's senior right-hand pitcher Cam Hansen. What's up, Cam?
How we doing?
Good, man. We appreciate you making time for us. So you hanging out in the dorm room on a Monday night?
Yeah, my apartment.
All right.
In there getting, ahead on the week.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you making time for us. This is your second appearance now, but I think last time you had to carry 2 guys with you, right?
Yeah, Paxton and Kramer.
Yeah, and it seems like maybe I just remember you having to really carry those guys. Is that right?
I don't know. I know Paxton had a couple good JUCO stories, but yeah.
Well, we'll go with that version of the story. You're the only one here, so that's what we'll go with. And if those guys want to dispute that, they can take that up with us later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the first pitch dinner, you said public speaking was your you hated public speaking was your fun fact. Does coming on podcast is that right up among the things you hate as well?
I think it's a little easier than public speaking and that many people. But this is a little more under my spotlight.
There's only 4 of us staring back at you.
I know.
not a room full of people.
Well, you did great at the first pitch dinner. Just to say that you were phenomenal. So maybe you shouldn't be nervous about that anymore.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So you did get the ball on Saturday, but before we kind of dig into your opening day start and that experience, this is, and I'm gonna tread lightly here because I'm never sure about anybody's eligibility anymore. You are listed as a senior.
Correct.
Is this, how many more years of eligibility do you have? Is this it? Are you a senior?
Yes, I am. This is my last year of eligibility.
Okay. you understand why we tread lightly on these
Yeah.
things, because we it's hard to know anymore. But so what's that? Reflect on that a little bit as far as opening weekend, knowing this is your senior year versus maybe the opening days or the opening weekends you've experienced, prior to this in your career.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Looking back, we probably did not have as well of a crowd as we did this past weekend. But other than that, I mean, I probably haven't done a ton of, thinking about that. I don't plan to. I kind of just want to be in the moment and not worry about what the future or think about the past as much. We got a bunch of good group of guys that are fun to be around, and I kind of just want to be in that moment and be with them.
So you get the ball on Saturday. We're down 0-1 in the series. Take us through your pregame mentality and how you prepared to come in for the Saturday start.
Yeah, there's nothing really crazy to it. I mean, obviously you want to go up there and throw zeros, which that's the goal. But the bigger goal is honestly to, hand it off in a good situation or leave us in a better situation in order to win. That's the biggest thing for me, is to do as much as I can to help us get a win. We didn't do that Saturday, but that's just my mindset on each start.
Well, Cam, what I want to ask you about is sort of your mentality here, because what we saw in the first inning, I thought that probably, it's kind of a fluky play in right field. But realistically, you could have, you probably could have gotten out of that inning with giving up one run. But fluky play happens in right field and it turns into 3. And so you're down 3-0 after the first inning. But what I really liked about what you did was it really, and I guess that's what you'd expect from a guy with your experience. It really didn't seem to phase you, because you came back out in the second, third, and fourth and went right back to work. And you hung 3 consecutive shutout innings on the board. And not everybody is gonna be able to overcome that early adversity like that, but you obviously can, and that you've done that in your career. So talk a little bit about the mental aspect of that, your mental process to, from the end of the first inning, like, oh crap, to to bouncing back and doing what you did.
Yeah. I think a big thing to that is I've gotten better with this, but kind of controlling what I can control. There's a lot of things that I can't control in baseball, and there's a lot of things that I can. And so there's just, I don't know, that's in the past, and just focusing on the now and what I can control, getting and responding to this next guy, like that fly out after the 3-run home run, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But it was just in that moment, it was kind of switched into, okay, time to get 3 outs, keep this at a 3-0 ball game for our hitters to, come back. And that was just the mindset each half inning when I was in the dugout, was getting 3 outs, controlling what I can control, and, leaving it up to 3-0 lead.
Cam, you're obviously one of the leaders of this team and the pitching staff. Talk about what you saw this weekend from your guys as a pitching staff for the first weekend of the 2024 season on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I was really impressed with how our guys went in and attacked. A lot of things didn't go our way, but that's the game of baseball. I really like how pitchers responded to some of those things. And I think that's going to bode well for us come later in the year.
Now, Cam, I think it's been – you're pretty – well, you've got a low heart rate on the mound, and you're a pretty low-key guy. You shy away from public speaking. But I feel like down in the dugout, you're a little bit of a different guy. You seem to have a lot of fun in the dugout. Do you have a dugout alter ego? Is that what's going on here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I kind of like just to have fun, back up our guys, just kind of be the teammate that I would want somebody behind me.
Maybe we should ask Coach O that question.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think that's fair. Coach O, you heard the question and you heard the man's answer. What do you make of that?
I mean, Hans might be like the most like low maintenance, like just do his job pitcher ever. And then when it comes to like being around his teammates and like celebrating their guys, like he's like the most like extroverted and like will do anything to bring the energy. So it's cool. I don't know if it's an alter ego, but yeah, you definitely knows the difference between Cam the person and Cam when he's pitching and Cam when he's around his teammates and cheering on his guys.
Like, I don't think I'm making this up, and I don't remember who it was, but were you guys – this was last season. Were you guys not doing a little Titanic thing down there? You had lifted somebody up. I don't think I'm making that up, am I?
I don't know.
I swear that happened. You do. I think what you're telling us is you do so much stuff down there in the dugout that you really don't even remember one specific thing.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing that and thinking it was funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember who you were doing that with, but I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Well, we did have the mic'd up. We had Cam mic'd up last year going into the tournament. And that was pretty cool. If you want, I would suggest any listeners that hadn't seen that go back to the Charlotte Baseball social and check that out from last year. It's pretty good fungo hitter, right?
Say that again?
Pretty good fungo infield outfield hitter, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. I just like, I don't know, hitting fungos. It's fun.
I can confirm. It's pretty good at it.
Not everybody can do that, Cam. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody, hey, you're. I mean, it's just something else to put on the resume. You never know. So, Cam, as you move out of this first weekend, like where are you at in your process? What's this week look like for you as you get ready to move towards West Virginia?
Right now, I'm kind of doing my own thing. I'm getting ahead of the week. Personally, I kind of I like to look back at the outing I kind of watched already. My previous outing where I can, fix a few things and tweak stuff in preparation for West Virginia. And then obviously Tuesday, I'm kind of just being the best teammate possible on Tuesday, just for the guys, and then bullpen Wednesday, and then everything else is, geared towards West Virginia.
So you watched the film and you were making some mental notes, or you were probably actually making physical notes. So what does Cam Hansen feel like he needs to work on here? What's Cam Hansen want to do differently?
Yeah, first off, I think the biggest thing this past outing for me is kind of the walk situation. I didn't have a ton of walks, but I mean, I had 3 walks that led off the game with a walk. I think that was probably flips the script a little bit. So that's my biggest plan of attack for this upcoming week. But other than that, there's not there's not a ton of stuff that I'm planning to fix right now. And that's just a mental note. I mean, there's no tweaking that I'm going to be doing. It's kind of just maybe a shift of focus out there.
Mm-hmm.
Cam, one of the big stories, I guess, on our end from the weekend was Tony Rossi making a comeback. He hadn't pitched since 2022. Then he came in yesterday, the last two and a third inning to close out the game. Talk a little bit about your teammate Tony making his debut after a season sitting out.
Yeah, Tony's it's so awesome to be his teammate. He's actually my neighbor in the locker room. I think the best way to describe him is kind of how Coach Woodard has talked about him before, that he's a professional baseball pitcher at the college level. I mean, Sunday, obviously you'd like to throw him on Friday and Saturday. But personally for me, when I saw him down in the bullpen, I was kind of getting goosebumps and, I guess you could say a little like flashbacks to how Tony was that year. But I was really excited for him. He's really worked an insane amount of time behind the scenes. He's worked really hard, and it couldn't have happened to a better person.
Coach, you have anything to add on that?
No, that was probably one of the coolest things. Both Cam and I playing with him in 22, one thing's for sure, like mentality-wise, like that dude has always had it. Like he has always had it. And then to come back and, to go through the injury and then like the awesome work that he did with Coach McKibben and Donna, especially, and to see like the whole process to where, he has been and then to make his first outing yesterday, it was pretty special. And, he's a newer and better version of what Tony was before he got injured. And that's really just like a testament to how hard he's worked and how diligent he's been every single day to come back. And yes, he is a professional baseball player that's somehow still playing Division I baseball. So we're lucky to have him.
You could tell on Sunday when Tony came in, the cameras came out, the guns were the radar guns were activated. There was a lot of interest around what he was doing, and it was when he came in. I guess in the seventh, it's kind of doing the math. Like, okay, well, who would he have to face if he goes to the ninth? And I was looking at the top of that lineup, and I kind of had in the back of my mind, like, are we going to see a matchup between Tony and DeMartini? And it happened in the ninth. And I think the scouts really wanted to see that matchup as well. And Tony came out on top of that one, striking out. He struck out a great hitter. The guy didn't strike out. That doesn't strike out very easily. And Tony got the job done. I thought that was one of the more electric moments of the day yesterday. Just personally, was that matchup between Tony and DeMartini. For my money, that was worth the price of admission, I think.
I cannot agree more. I think I rewatched that video on bats at least like 7 times, like today. Just going over, it was amazing. The whole sequence, when he got the swing and miss, and then him and Renee both are just fired up at the dugout, got the second out, and you don't take any outs for granted, but that kind of felt like what sealed the deal for that game. Even though the last out wasn't made yet, but just getting out their best hitter right there, we felt like we had it after that.
Yeah, I think the crowd kind of sensed that too, because that crowd, like I said, that crowd was great, and a lot of people have been there all weekend, and they, they're pretty savvy folks. They know what that guy's capable of, and it's seen it there and knew him by reputation as well. Tony did the job, so that was awesome. But why don't we transition over, since we're already talking about Tony and Sunday. It was Sunday Fun Day at the Hayes. You guys we talked about the all the guys making their D1 debuts, but then progressing. Saturday, we score 5 runs, so it's like, okay, we're starting to go. But then Sunday, Coach O, the bats, the bats really came alive, and I mean, I'm thinking particularly about Thad Ector had a big day yesterday, but Noah Furch. I mean, Noah Furch he was all over it. These guys really started coming in their own, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They really did. And kind of like I said earlier, just like seeing them just adjust and kind of get over that first, like, all right, my first, Division I game. And like after that, it was like, all right, like I'm just ready to go. And you could even sense it Saturday to Sunday, like they were just in attack mode. And they were just going to go out and get it. So it was cool to see. It's cool to see. It's an electric lineup, and, those guys are fun to be around.
Let's rewind a little bit. We asked Coach O this question. Cam, do you remember your first D1 appearance, and what was it like?
My first D1 appearance was UConn at USF 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That one I'll always remember that outing specifically. Things went well for me. The thing that I will remember the most is dropping that pop-up and foul ground around home plate, and then that kid hitting a home run on me the next couple pitches. But, yeah, I will always remember that outing.
Yeah, I remember that one too. I was at that game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, looking back, it's fun. So.
Yeah, it wasn't real fun at the time, was it?
Nope.
Yeah, but hey, we were in Florida, and it was like 75 degrees in February, and it was glorious. But yeah, you rebounded from that, but. Yeah, well, welcome to D1, right? Had you ever? I mean, the answer is probably yes, but I mean, had you ever made a play like that, or I should say, not made a play like that before?
I would say no. I mean, I don't really remember. I don't remember the like bunts and ground balls and stuff like that. But the only other pop up I remember was at WKU last year. Which I did catch. But yeah, we learned and you moved on and you get the job done the next time. So.
Hey, that's the way it works. I mean, that's what experience is for, right? you learn from your mistakes, and you're older and wiser now, Cam. You're kind of the old man on this team. I don't know if you're. Do we know that? Are you actually the oldest person on the team?
No. Tony's the
transfers.
Yeah, Tony's the oldest. I'm probably right up there with him. But yeah. Tony is older than me.
So Tony's the old man on the team. So. Very cool. Well, Coach O, talk a little bit about speaking of first D1 starts. Well, no, that's not right. First D1 start at Charlotte, I should say. Let's be clear. Cole Reynolds is one of the new guys that come in. He got the ball for you on Sunday. Cole has been a two-way player, but looks primarily pitch for us. So what'd you see out of Cole?
Honestly, we just saw, what we saw every single outing this preseason. It was just consistency in the strike zone with all three of his pitches. Being able to throw any pitch in any count, to any sided hitter, slow heart rate, he was a hitter, which is in his advantage because he's really good at understanding the timing and how to hold runners, and just keeping guys out of scoring position. And so, I guess that's one of the advantages that he has, that he really understands how to keep guys out of scoring position when they reach base, let alone just his overall ability to execute and all that. But yeah, whenever Cole's going to take them out, I think our team's going to feel pretty confident.
And then you did get A.J. Wilson back in there. He came in picked up a third of the inning. And then we saw the debut of, and you're going to correct me as soon as I keep saying Ryan's name two different ways, and I need to look up Joe's pronunciation guide. But Ryan Deggs? Deggs. Okay. So I got it right. All right. So we saw the debut of Ryan Deggs. And coming into the season, he was somebody, one of the newcomers that we thought could really make an impact out of the bullpen, and seems like he set off on that path.
Yeah, similar to Cole, just consistent, and just kind of like what you're going to get out of him. Definitely an electric arm, just 94, 96, plus breaking ball. But I think what sets him apart and what he really worked on this winter was just the ability to land those two breaking pitches, the splitter and the sweeper, really whenever he wanted to. And, it's not an easy thing to do when you're throwing those pitches at, 83 to 89 and they're breaking, 20 plus inches. But for him to consistently keep that in the strike zone was kind of the biggest thing. And, he really put in the work this winter, kept building up this preseason, and yeah, he's going to just keep getting better too. So it was cool to see.
Yeah. Cam, did you guys know each other from Tennessee, from East Tennessee?
We did not. He played at one of the JUCOs that was in our conference, Columbia State. We were not there at the same time either, I don't believe. But no, I do not know him. I know Fisher knew him, just with being from Knoxville.
Yeah.
But
now I'll say Kevin. I told Kevin this story yesterday, but I met Ryan's dad and some of his family on I guess it was on Saturday out in the tailgate lot, and we're talking about being from Knoxville, and he brought up that Ryan and Cam Fisher knew each other, and that they had corresponded and stuff like that. And so I asked the magic question. I said, so do you know Chip Fisher? And when I asked him if he knew Chip Fisher, he said, and about right there, I stopped him. I said, no, you obviously don't. It's okay. Yeah, I haven't met. Because nobody that's met Chip Fisher has to think about it. I mean, right? I mean,
Yeah.
back me up here, Kevin. If you've met Chip Fisher, you've met Chip Fisher.
That's right. Yes, he's from our trip to Columbia last year. He's made a huge impression on my son. So he's very impressionable human being, and he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, we miss Cam in right field. We miss Cam's bat in the lineup for sure, but we miss Chip in the stands. So, it's early in the season there too. We'll develop new characters in the stands as we go. We just don't know who some of those people are yet, but we will get there. I promise you. So, boys, why don't we talk about the week ahead? I love these weeks like this. We've got 4 games at home. We get started tomorrow. If you'll be listening, but if you're watching this the day it comes out, it'll be today. So if you're watching this on Tuesday, go to the Hayes tonight. We're hosting Davidson at the Hayes 4 p.m. Well, actually, that game got moved back to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. on Tuesday evening. What can you guys tell us? And it's a familiar opponent because we did scrimmage Davidson in the fall. So what can you tell us about Davidson?
Yeah, really, really, really well-coached team. Just a good program, consistent program. I can't really speak much about their rotation, but in terms of the lineup, few key returners coming from last year, pretty patient approaches, just kind of overall. And so going to be good for our guys, good test, just, another opponent, somebody to play right away after, a Sunday W, and kind of just let them go out and compete. So yeah, it's gonna be looking good, and they're a good ball club, so I think it'll be a good game.
I think we've got a guy on our roster that would know a lot about their squad, AJ Pabst. He made an appearance this weekend on Friday night, and he's definitely a fun guy to watch on the mound. A little unorthodox, but yeah, he should have plenty to say about those guys. It looks like the game notes have just came out as we were on the show here recording. Looks like Chase Carson's got the ball on the mound, lefty JUCO guy. What can you tell us about Chase?
Yeah, I would say pretty similar to Cole in terms of just like a really good 3-pitch mix. Ability to land all pitches and all counts as well. He's not overpowering by any means, but he can just really pitch. He's able to access all parts of the strike zone and pitch backwards, pitch traditionally, and just steady Eddie on the mound. Same guy usually every time he throws, and so I'm excited for him. He already got his first, kind of his first appearance out of the way on Saturday, and that was kind of like his bullpen. And so, he was feeling good today throwing. He's primed. I think mentally he's ready to go, and yeah, I'm excited for him.
So here's kind of we're just thinking about this, Cam. With all these new guys, Kevin, you made me think of it. You brought in AJ Pabst, which has excellent meme potential. I've already used the Pabst Blue Ribbon GIF. We tweet about him, and that's not going away. But with so many new teammates this year, who's the real character that we don't know about yet? Who's?
I think you gotta right off the bat. I think of Trey Baker, Ryan Deggs, and also Joseph Taylor. Those are the three that first hit my mind. Tanner Kaler is right behind them, but they're all just guys that are characters in themselves. They're good people. They're really good at baseball, but they also are funny. So.
Coach O, I saw you kind of laughing there. What? Were you just concurring with Cam's assessment, or you had something else in mind you wanted to say?
No, nothing else in mind. But yes, I do concur. The pitching staff is just hilarious, honestly. They're just fun to be around, which I did not know was going to be the case. Honestly, at the start of the fall. It was really quiet. Everybody was kind of quiet around each other for the first 2 weeks, which I guess I should have expected. It's a lot of new guys. And I was like, man, nobody's talking. I hope, everybody meshes well. And then, before you know it, everybody's best friends. And, they're one of the funnest groups I think I've been around. And they just love playing and being around each other. So they're a fun time.
Yeah, really looking forward to getting back out to the Hayes after missing one night. We'll be back at the Hayes on Tuesday to see the Niners back in action at 5. Hopefully another good crowd. The crowd. That's one thing we talked about before you got on, Cam, was the crowds. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on the crowds this weekend and your career here at Charlotte.
Yeah, the crowds this weekend played it was probably the best. In general, not even just opening weekend. They were in it the whole time. They were there early. They were loud. From a pitcher's perspective, it's a lot of fun to pitch in those type of crowds. More so when you're home, but I kind of enjoy that when I'm pitching away when there's good crowds. But in the dugout sense, it's a lot of fun to really dive in and see what's going on up in the stands. Just kind of when I'm pitching, you don't really hear it much. But when you're in the dugout, you kind of see it and hear it a lot more. And you feed off their energy. It's just a lot of fun when there's a good crowd. Like I said before, this is probably the best it's been so far in my 2.5 years or going on 3 years here. So it was great.
I think it seems to be a momentum across all sports. And honestly, I mean, I've been saying this, Kevin. I mean, we agree on this, that that the best thing that could happen for all our sports, but when we talk about it, we're typically talking about like what's good for baseball. What's good for baseball is our marquee sports to do well and build that momentum for the athletic program. And you look at what's happening in men's basketball this season, and the crowds have grown over there. And then even like the game on Sunday, a lot of people were going to the basketball game at noon and then coming over. I don't think it's a coincidence that men's basketball is doing well and there's more people in Halton Arena. Now all of a sudden there's more people at the Hayes. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a coincidence.
Right. I mean, people love to see teams win. You know, people love to be a part of something that's good, and we've been doing it at the Hayes. Those crowds have been building year after year, and the success of basketball only helps that out. Maybe speeds that up a little bit more. So.
Oh, I think it builds, and then we build into football back in the fall, you know. And if they can keep it going, then it's what Woody called. Woody used the term compound interest. He wasn't talking about athletics, but he was talking about the one event leads another, and I kind of think that's what we're experiencing here. Baseball's been doing its thing, softball's been doing its thing, but now one of the quote unquote revenue sports is doing well, and I think we're reaping some of the rewards here. I hope it keeps going because people are excited about Charlotte athletics right now, and we're all about that, obviously baseball, but just across the board, we're here for it, as we say. So, Coach O, let me ask you this, and I know what you might say here. Is it too early in the week to say much about West Virginia, or have you gotten into that yet?
A little bit, yeah. Kind of within the first 2 or 3 weeks, you try to get ahead on scouting reports as much as you can.
Sure.
And so, did a little bit of research on them, and, obviously they have, JJ Weatherholt, who could be the, first overall pick this year. He's kind of the cornerstone of their lineup, and he's going to be probably in the 2-hole. And they also, they just have strength, really throughout their lineup, and they like to play fast. They're going to run a lot. They're going to put pressure on you, especially with guys in scoring position. And so, just more little things like that, I guess, and kind of like the finer details about, the swings and all that stuff within the lineup. But, yeah, just understanding them as a whole and as a program is really important because, we played them in 22, and, they put the pressure on us for sure. On the base pads and, small ball, all those things. And so, they're going to bring a fight and, they're a good program. So we're just going to prepare as good as we can for
that. Any idea who you're going to start on Saturday?
We'll think about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you think of somebody, let me know. Okay. Would you maybe text us later if you come up with somebody?
We'll do.
Coach, I know last year was your first year on staff. Kind of made a deal with the pitching staff, if I remember correctly. Any similar deals this year that we should know about?
Nothing yet. And I want to be a man of my word, so it's going to happen. I think my girlfriend's just going to have to bleach my hair herself. I think we're scared that it's going to turn orange here, and so that's what we're trying to avoid. But, worse things can happen. So I don't know. I'll probably leave it up to the players and the pitching staff. If there's a record that they find that we can break this year and then some sort of consequence for me, then I'm all for it. So I'll leave it up to Hansen and the rest of the guys.
Hey, Cam, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
It's just me and you, okay? Nobody else, just me and you. I mean, how could you, in good faith, make a deal with somebody that hasn't even paid off on the last thing yet? You know what I'm saying? It's like double or nothing. Is that what we're talking about? I mean, because if it's double or nothing, it's got to be something. It's got to be something massive. You know, I mean, it's like I don't even know what it would be, but like a guy makes a deal with you, you break the strikeout record, and I go blonde, and look at him. Does he look blonde to you? He doesn't look blonde to me. I just don't know that I don't even think I would open negotiations unless there was some good faith effort made here. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good idea. If I'm Coach O, I'm going double or nothing. Right here. Yeah, double or nothing gets him off the hook, I think.
I'm cool with that.
Double or nothing?
I'll need to talk to, my negotiators, before we set anything in stone.
What would be worth double or nothing?
Those guys on that pitching staff, I'm sure they're a lot more creative than I am.
I mean,
I'm gonna leave it to this.
Shave his head.
That's there.
How about this? You go straight peroxide, which probably does turn it orange. You wear the orange, you let the guys see the orange, get the pictures made, and then you shave it all off to start over. Shaved head, that's double or nothing.
It's on the table. Cam will take it back to his people, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out there.
Our lawyers can talk. They'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll get some in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's the mistake y'all made last year, Cam. You didn't get anything.
It won't happen again. So.
We got it on tape, though.
Yeah.
We have Coach O on tape saying that was the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Producer Brad could find that. Heck, we could find that. It's on YouTube. We go and find it. I don't know.
We'll figure out something.
Figure out something and report back. We'll try to report back on what that's going to be.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. What you got to do is you got to get to him and you got to get something agreed before his girlfriend gets involved, because that's when you're going to lose your leverage.
Uh-huh.
It's all about leverage.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling when she enters the chat, she's going to be talking about her veto.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh gosh, I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin, because I was thinking we haven't talked about anything off the wall here in a while, and there you went and solved that.
I skipped over. I asked if there anything that's in the past. I was looking towards the future. I was asking if anything was on the table this year.
I'm totally cool with it. I'm here for that. We need if there's going to be double or nothing, it's got to be something really awesome. If you notice that Coach O hasn't really smiled since we started talking about this.
I'm sorry.
Slowly,
Sorry.
I'm getting a little nervous here, but it'd be for good reason, so I can't be upset about it.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, we're just having fun with you. I mean, sort of. But Cam, seriously, report back. Let us know what y'all are. Because we need to track that.
Yeah.
We absolutely need to track that.
All right, let's get back on the rails here, Nick.
Well, hold on. One more point of order. I missed this. Producer Brad said blonde mullet. That was his contribution. So I don't know. It's a thought. Anyway, go ahead. Get us back on the rails, Kevin.
I don't even know how to. Four home games. We got 4 home games this weekend. Pack the Hayes. I'm sure you'll see this man Cam Hansen on the mound in one of those games. So keep bringing the support. The students are great. Alumni, fans are great. It's a fun atmosphere, fun college baseball atmosphere at the Hayes all week. So let's keep that up and keep building it.
Tailgate again on Saturday. Last Saturday's tailgate, we had a good turnout. A lot going on out in the parking lot. So it'll be happening again this Saturday, folks. So imagine 10 a.m. again. We'll be out there. So people keep saying, oh, I saw you guys over there, but I wasn't sure. Yes, you're sure. If you see us over there, you can come over. It's an easy 2-step process. In order to join what we have going on over there, you need to, 1, stop by, 2, say hello. If you can do those 2 things, you're in. All right. That's all you got to do. All right, boys, it's about time to wind this thing down because we got to get both of you some rest so you can get ready to jump on Davidson tomorrow. Woody always gets the last word, Coach O. You want the last word here?
Sure. What usually happens is you just say like something about the team, or I feel like I need to be coached up on this.
Heck, you can talk about how you regret not dyeing your hair blonde if you want. I mean, you say it's your last word. You can say whatever you want to with it.
I mean, I do a little bit. Okay, I will say if the pitching staff can come together and get something binded that I can sign, I'll shake your hand. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
We'll make it happen. Go. So
and
that's the final word.
The final word, that's the final word on that. And also, Coach O wants you to know that it's time to pack the Hayes on Tuesday night. It's time to pack the Hayes this weekend for West Virginia, right?
That too.
All right.
It'll be fun. It'll be good.
All right. This has been fun. I love it when we get off the rails like that, Kevin. So you were the MVP right there for getting us off the rails on that. That was beautiful. I think that's probably where we need to wrap it up though, because there's no telling what else will get off Coach O if this keeps going. So let's go ahead and wrap up this episode right here. If you have enjoyed this, and I don't know why you wouldn't because we're just having a great time, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spotify, other major platforms. Diamond Eye Report, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, never TikTok. Feel free to reach out. Love talking to you folks. Hope you've enjoyed this tonight. We've had a good time putting it on. We want to thank Coach O for coming on. Thank Cam Hansen for hanging out with us. We're going to return Cam to getting ahead on his week here as he prepares to take on West Virginia this weekend. So for Kevin, for producer Brad, for Coach O, for Cam Hansen, this is Nick saying, we'll see you at the Hayes.